I thank the chair, and one of the witnesses today talked about, and this is kind of what the focus has been about, is on who pulled the trigger, and then where did that gun come from. But if you're really going to get to the resolution of a societal problem that is tragic and horrific, it seems to me that you'd want to answer, at least try answering the question, is why did that person undertake to pull the trigger in the first place? Of course, my colleagues across the aisle referred to that question as, and theories that might pertain to that as being, I think they used the words idiotic and ridiculous. Well, it makes it tough to have a bipartisan solution when ad hominem attacks are is what you're hiding behind. I don't think that's really what any of us should be hiding behind. Chief Holt mentioned in his written and oral testimony that we should be focusing on, and I can pull it out here. I want to say, because I thought it was pretty prescient, comprehensive, non-judgmental, pragmatic, evidence-based approach. We're going to have a bipartisan solution. Seems to me that's where you would go. You would do it that way. But that isn't what typically happens in Congress, unfortunately. For those of you who've not dealt with Congress before, you probably didn't realize that. But that's really, unfortunately, the reality. So I want to go to Mr. Brewer. And I want you to tell me if you've explored and if you've tried to address the underlying causes of violence in society and even the root causes of violence of mass shooters.
Every day. Every day. Thank you, Mr. Biggs. Every day I face this. And when you talk about violence, you talk about young kids in communities that have a little bit rougher than others and are faced with these type of situations. And I do it all the time. I go into the juveniles, I also go into the prisons. And so to talk to a kid or a man and ask, why did you pull the trigger? Why did you do a drive-by shooting? You start to really uncover the things that were going on in their lives. And in my programs, over 85% of those men happen not to have a father in their lives. And so it could be idiocy, whatever you want to call it, but that's not what the Word of God says. The Word of God says, defend the fatherless and the widow. And if we don't do that, then our land will be hit with a curse. We're experiencing that curse. My brother next to me touched my Bible and said that Jesus was a man of action and not prayer. Jesus prayed, there's over 25 different verses in the Bible of Jesus praying. He was a praying man all the time. And so to think that you can go into these communities and actually affect the individuals that are pulling the trigger without getting to the spiritual battle that we're facing in our nation, that's idiocy, because that doesn't align with the Word of God. None of us in here are smart enough to come up with any solutions. And if we think we are, we need to reevaluate that. Our solutions come from the Word of God. And if we don't want to get back and humble ourselves before God and actually look at our kids in the eye and make sure that they are sound with strong parents and mentors, every kid is not going to have a mom and dad. But the ones that don't, they still deserve mentors. They still deserve direction. So why are we not in this panel right now talking about real solutions to help the children that are suffering in our communities? We have the money. The programs are there. But when we look at Chicago just this weekend, 21 kids shot at each other. That wasn't with an AR-15 or any type of assault weapon.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer. I'm going to yield my last minute to Burgess Owens, gentleman from Utah.
We have two topics here, my friends. One is the Second Amendment rights, and that's going to be a discussion for years to come. The other one is how do we take care of our kids today? I want you guys to keep this in mind. I'm going to read this one more time, because if our goal is to make sure our kids are safe, then we can talk about all the other issues that adults can deal with. How about this? Secure Our Students Act. Using billions of dollars of unused and already allocated funds from the American Rescue Plan that each district, Uvalde, Draper, Leon, and Tallahassee, each district would have what they need, their customized need: hard infrastructure, innovative software, or security personnel. Why would anyone vote against that? Take care of our kids. Let's get that done with first. So every fall we take our kids to school, we know they're gonna be okay. Let's have this debate for years to come, we want to, about Second Amendments. Our children should be first and not be used as hostages, my friends. And that's what's happening right now today. We could stop this if we put the right legislation to make sure they're safe, period. I yield back.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, I'm not going to extend my time anymore, and I'll yield back to you.
Arizona for his questioning. Now I'm